Hello students, this is Farul Yadav, Assistant Professor BBT University. I'm here to provide a session on the topic of organizational behavior, which is attitude and emotional intelligence. Okay, so first and foremost, a very clear brief about organizational, this is I really want to give over here that organizational behavior can be understood as per Robbins that it is a field of study that investigates groups, individuals, structures on behaviors within organization for purpose of applying such knowledge towards improving on organizational effectiveness. Okay, so quickly moving to attitude, which is a very major part of organizational behavior. That attitude can be understood as an evaluative statement about anything, which can be favorable or unfavorable, or we can say that it can be positive or negative in terms. And here, with slides, is actually providing that individual processes and behavior, which includes attitude. That is importance of attitude in an organization. Next is attitude can be understood as beliefs, feelings, action, tendencies towards objects, ideas, and people. Sorry, ideas or people. So, attitude is actually what it is, that mental state of readiness, learned and organized through experience, exerting a specific influence on people's response to people, object, and situation, which is directly or indirectly related. So, attitude can be summarized in a way that attitude can be understood as the evaluative statement, or we can say any feeling towards any object, which can be positive or negative. So, a very next slide discussing about formation of attitude, that how your attitude can be formed. So, attitude can be formed with the help of experience with the object, classical conditioning, operant conditioning, family and peers, the neighborhood, economic status. So, here is something we need to discuss, which is classical conditioning, operant conditioning, experience with the object. That anything which is helping you to form your attitude is actually experience you are having with that particular situation, with that particular incident, with that particular person, group, or anything, or within an organization. So experience is having a major impact in the formation of your attitude. A very next thing is classical conditioning. Classical conditioning is basically um, a system which is developed by IP Pavlov, and classical conditioning is basically discussing about the stimulus and response thing. And operant conditioning is just opposite of classical conditioning, which actually talks about the response stimulus system, which is basically punishment and uh, reward system, where you're going to receive what you are giving. That a basic thing is the transaction is going on, that if you are doing something great, you are going to get the reward against that. And if you're going to get the reward against that, you're repeating the same things again and again and again. So attitude towards reward, you're going to have something good feeling, and repeating the same instance forever and ever and ever. And again, if you're not going to get a reward against that, and you're going to punish against that, you are going to stop that thing, right? Okay, so very next slide is discussing about that, the component of an attitude. Here, the first thing this slide actually talks about the attitude is what, that we already have discussed, that attitude is evaluative statement or judgments we are having towards objects, people, or events. And the three components attitude is having, one is affective component, another is cognitive component, and another one is behavioral component. So first we are going to discuss about the cognitive component of an attitude, which is opinion or the belief segment of an attitude. Cognitive is something that is directly related to your mental status, that how you are going to process the information you are going to get, right, or you are getting. So cognitive component is what? Cognitive component of an attitude is something that you are having against the opinion or belief segment of an attitude. Then affective is something you have some emotions or feelings towards any instance, toward any situation, towards any event, any people, any person. So any kind of emotions you are having for person object, if you can easily identify it as affective component. Then next one is behavioral component. Behavioral component is is basically that you how you're behaving in a certain situation, or towards any object, towards people, towards event. Okay, so next slide is talking about, again, this is something which is talking about that three components of attitude. Then the functions of attitude, this slide is talking about that adjustment or adaptive function, the knowledge function, ego defensive function, value expressive functions. So adjustment function is basically about that how people enable to attain particular or desired goal or avoid undesirable circumstances, that how you are adapting a situation. Right. And another one is the knowledge function, that some attitude are useful because they help to make the world more understandable. They help people to describe causes to event, that why something is happening, and we are questioning everything in the sentence of why this is happening or why that is happening. So we need to understand that how people and situations, or why people are behaving in certain manner. So this is something related to knowledge function. A very next thing is the ego defensive function. Some attitudes serve to protect the person, that hold them from psychological damaging events or information by allowing them to recast in less damaging or threatening ways. That ego defensive function is something that you are in a you are in a we can say that uh, we are saving ourselves from the psychological damage we are going to create with different situations or from different situations. So we have to develop a ego defensive function, or we just develop, we don't have to, but we used to. Then value expressive function is some attitude are important to a person because they express values that are integral to person's self-concept. Self-concept is something like that, what they are or what they should be, or which type of ideal self they are having towards themselves, or how people are perceiving them in front of other people, or anything you can say. In a very next slide, it is talking about the job related attitudes, that uh, which type of one thing, that is what attitude actually is. And when it comes to the organizational behavior context, we need to understand that what job related attitudes actually are. So in very three major job related attitudes are job satisfaction, job involvement, and organizational commitment. So job satisfaction we can understand in a very pleasurable or very happy or very positive emotional state, resulting from someone's job experiences. So we can understand this as the job satisfaction, that's a very happy feelings towards their job of anyone having towards their job. Okay, so next is job involvement. Job involvement can be understood as a degree to which where people identify themselves with their job, that uh, they don't have a very major connection with their organization, but they love their job. They really like to do their job. And when it comes to the organizational commitment, it is a combination. We can say that when you identify yourself with the organization along with the job, so we can consider it as organizational commitment. So we can conclude it as a job related attitude. Um, this is a job attitude. That one is job involvement, organizational commitment. And this is the responses of the job dissatisfaction. If someone is dissatisfied with their job, so either they will exit, or they will raise their voice or neglect, or if they are very happy, if something very constructive and very active satisfaction if they are having, so the loyalty will be automatically created. So this is the barriers, that why we don't want to change our attitudes, then how to overcome the barrier, that providing information, use of fear, resolving discrepancies, influence of friend or peers, the co-opting approach. So how to overcome barriers? Why is it important to overcome barriers? We need to first decode this, that why is it important to overcome the barriers of changing attitudes, that we need to change is a very certain phenomena of this world. We need to understand that the attitude is something that we cannot hold for years. We cannot hold the same sentiment or same emotion or same state for years and years. We need to change as per the demand, as per the need of the organization, or as per the need of the market. So first is that what you need to do is that information you must have, you have to update yourself. uh, you have a very new the kind of technology is changing. We need to understand that why technology is important, why different type of information we must have. It, it is it is something that we need to go beyond the bars, right? Next is use of fear, then resolving discrepancies is something that if there is any problem, if there is, you know, uh, any we can say, if there is any barrier, we need to decode it. Then influence of friends and peers is very important. And next is changing attitude of employees. How you're going to change your employees attitude? Is there anything, is there any certain mechanism? So here this is that you have to give them feedback that you are doing good, or you can correct yourself at some point, or you can do more better, or you're not reaching at your level or something. So you have to give feedbacks to the employees that they are doing something good or bad, right? Then provide positive conditions, positive role models, new information. Again the same, that why you need to change yourself and how you're going to help them to change, right? Next is changing attitude of self. So self is something very uh, close to someone, that which type of feeling we are having towards ourselves. So be aware of one's attitude, think for self, keep an open mind, continuous education programs, build a positive self-esteem. So these are the things that you need to update yourself about, that how you're going to change yourself. Because change, again I'm saying this, the change is a certain phenomena. We need to decode this time to time. Okay, so this is a self perception theory, self okay, see. Then cognitive dissonance is something that incompatibility between two or more attitudes, between behavior or attitude. So incompatibility is something that we are not making a balance between the behavior and the attitude. Once we are going to make a balance between the behavior and the attitude, we will be having at our cognitive better cognitive state. But when we are not having the balance, we are going to form a cognitive dissonance. Okay. So next, a very important topic of our discussion today. Today's discussion is emotional intelligence. That emotional intelligence is something that it is something that making you able to recognize your own feeling and then others' feeling to motivate yourself, them, or ourselves, or we can say the managing emotions or make our relationship better with people. So emotional intelligence is something that you are making yourself better with respect to people. You are better regulating your emotions. You are better managing your emotions, and you are motivating yourself, right? Okay, so this is a very famous author, or we can say thinker in organization, where, or you can say emotional intelligence, the Goleman's theory, that very two important broad categories that Goldman's actually talks about. That is personal competence, another one is social competence. Personal competence is actually talking about the self awareness, that this is something that how you are going to manage your own emotions, right? That this is self awareness, self management, self motivation. Okay, and next one is social competence, that is social awareness, social skills, right? So this is the very two broad categories. Okay, uh, this is a sample attitude survey, and here we are ending our session. Okay, thank you.